25 years since the original, The Lion King has roared back to the top of the Hollywood food chain.
I felt that if I could create something with that felt that it honored the old, but also brought something new to it using this new technology, this new cast, and changing the story without changing the beats, that we could do something that felt like it was yet another medium.
I want to see retellings. I want to see how people in different generations, and certainly over a period of 25 years, you know, can come back to something and look at it again and have different voices and different interpretations.
The CGI remake of the 1994 animated classic earned more than $500 million around the world in its opening weekend. It's the second biggest opening of the year behind Avengers Endgame, also released by Disney. The Marvel movie has overtaken Avatar as the biggest grossing film of all time, reaching $2.79 billion in box office receipts this past weekend. To keep its historic run going, Disney's planning more remakes from its deep well of classics, including Mulan and The Little Mermaid.
It is what is best for our family.
It's also lined up 10 new Marvel movies and TV shows to be released in the next 2 years. The new superhero films aim to appeal to a larger audience by featuring more diversity in front of and behind the camera.
Marvel's really focused on having very strong female characters at the forefront of their stories, and I think that's great.
It's about fresh voices and new voices and great filmmakers who can continue to steer the MCU into new places.
Disney already owns 5 of the top 10 grossing movies of the year. The company also wants to dominate the world of television with its planned Disney Plus streaming service that will launch this year. And if its list of hits keep growing, it's hard to imagine the sun ever setting on Disney's time as king. Motheo Khoaripe, TRT World.
Well, let's get more on The Lion King's roaring success now with Nick Harper, who joins us from New York. Hi, Nick. Now, The Lion King really is proving to be a huge success the second time round, isn't it? Can you tell us more about how it was received at box offices around the world, that is, at the weekend?
Yeah. Received very well, that opening weekend becoming the best remake of a Disney movie for the studio. The best remake ever. In comparison to The Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast, it did so much better than either of those and the other remakes that we've seen over the last few years. So grossing overall, globally, about $531 million. In particular, we saw here in the US $185 million achieved at the box office, way above expectations. We were thinking it would be nearer about 150 million, and helped also by China, where it's been released for a little bit longer, for the past week or so. It's managed to get about 100 million in from China alone. So yes, it becomes the best opening weekend for Disney for a remake. It also becomes the second highest grossing film of the year in North America, behind Avengers Endgame, and it's now the 9th highest grossing opening weekend ever of all time.
Some incredible figures there, but they do seem to be at odds with what critics have been saying about this Lion King remake. What have the reviews been like?
Well, they have been somewhat lukewarm. If you look at some of the online sites where people would post their own reviews, people haven't been that impressed. Some of the reviews in the region of about 50–60%. Also some questions about why the film doesn't seem to be quite as lively and as entertaining as the original 1994 animated movie. It's essentially the same storyline, it's the same songs, it looks the same, but it's just done with that CGI effects. And yet some critics are saying that the original film was just so much more of a blast in many respects.
Now, the same weekend, Disney's Marvel Studios announced no less than 10 new movies over the next 2 years. What do we know about those upcoming blockbusters?
Yeah, all of this news coming out of this San Diego Comic-Con. Some fantastic news for Marvel fans. This enters now the 4th phase for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They detailed many of them. They didn't give details for all of them, but they gave a run through that over the next 2 years there would be 10. Some of the big names include Blade, that's the vampire hunter series that Wesley Snipes starred in about a decade or so ago. The Oscar winner Mahershala Ali will be taking up the title role. Also more information about the Eternals. Now that's a group of superheroes who've appeared in comic book form since the mid-1970s. They helped to save the Earth, and we'll be seeing Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek in some of the lead roles. The fourth Thor film has also been announced, and we will be seeing the return of Natalie Portman to that film. She's even going to be wielding Thor's hammer. We're told that apparently Thor becomes unworthy during that film, so she gets a chance with the hammer. We'll have the first Asian American superhero film. That's going to be called Shang-Chi. And also Scarlett Johansson, of course, well known in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for her role as Black Widow. She's going to be getting her own standalone film. Now, all of those were mentioned. They didn't have time, they said, to mention the other 5. They just ran through the list. Over the next 2 years, we're expecting Black Panther 2, Guardian of the Galaxy 3, Captain Marvel 2, The Fantastic Four, and a film called Mutants as well.
Interesting, and no doubt we'll see more impressive box office returns for Disney. Nick Harper in New York, thank you for that.